let's talk about the MOS Scalability Pack, the actual tool. So, as I mentioned before, we've been doing performance testing for a while, and we realized that our consultants were always basically doing the same thing. So every time you would go into a customer, you would be recording pretty much the same scripts and doing pretty much the same thing. So in order to basically make our consultants more efficient, we decided to put some sort of tool together that we can also use for customers. So we came up with the idea of the MOS Scalability Pack, and this is a tool that will help customers without any previous performance testing experience to basically performance test their SharePoint implementations. So first of all, before we go in detail about the tool, let's talk about the market needs for this tool, right? So first thing, the performance testing is not just creating load on a system. So, sometimes I go to a customer and they say, Jose, I want you to create load on this system and I want you to break the system. And I go I grab the rack from the top and boom, put it on the floor. There you go, your system load and broken. So, that's not performance testing. The user needs to be guided. You cannot just ramp up 3,000 users and break the system. You need to have some goals in mind, okay? Then, as I said before, every customer is creating similar, if not the same scripts. We realize that every time we go to a customer, we end up writing scripts to set up events in a calendar, download a file, upload a file. So there's a duplicate effort there. There's no need to re-record all these scripts all the time. Now, in terms of monitorization, you cannot just look at absolutely every single performance counter on the system, right? You need to know what you're looking for, and you need to start by selecting the counters that are appropriate for the kind of testing you're doing. So there's some guidance required to know which counters you need to select. And then lastly, the reporting. And this is basically the most important part in any performance testing exercise, because at the end all you do is so you get these graphs that actually explain things, so you have some findings and you have some way to fix them. So there's no point on having these kind of reports where you have 200 pages with 100 graphs on them, right? So you need to basically have a meaningful report. So the value is in the reports. Now, let's talk about the benefits of the tool. So this is a wizard-based tool. So as I said before, it is designed for people with no previous performance testing experience. So they can just go in the tool and understand every single question. Yeah, so the questions are written in a way that can be understood by people without testing experience. But obviously you might be thinking, well, you're reinventing the wheel here. I mean, that's what Visual Studio, the load test wizard does. Well, not really. We are not reinventing the wheel here. What we are doing is improving the load test wizard, and our load test wizard at the end is going to create a load test file that you can load from Visual Studio and then execute it from there. So, at the end you're going to be using Visual Studio to run this performance test on your SharePoint. It's not that we've developed a new tool. We've just developed a wizard, a way of helping customers getting to where they need to get. We also offer an advanced mode, right? So for instance, for our consultants, it's great to be able to tweak all the little details, so they can do it from the wizard as opposed to having to go in detail within Visual Studio, which takes a bit longer. So there's also an advanced mode there. And lastly, we also bundle a set of external resources. These are great because, you're going to get a number of pre-recorded scripts. So if you're testing, for instance, a vanilla installation, it's just basically next, run the test because your scripts are going to be ready. And then we also bundle a number of predefined reports. So you know exactly, so it's easier for you to present information to your management. Now let's look at the structure of the tool. First thing we're going to see is the environment. So the graphical editor. Basically, from here you're going to be able to create your SharePoint or create a diagram of your SharePoint installation from a hardware point of view. So from here what you're going to do is drag and drop machines, drag and drop roles to the machine and specify IP addresses, and this is going to allow the wizard to basically set up your whole monitoring environment and help you with the reporting as well, right? So that's what you're going to get from here. Second thing, another important part of the tool is test data. So basically here what we are doing is using this MOSDW library to basically load the database in vanilla system. So we all know that performance testing a SharePoint implementation with an empty database is not the same as doing it when you actually have some data. So the idea is that if we have vanilla implementations and we want to test the scalability of those vanilla implementations, we just load the amount of data that we think we will get in production, and then we performance test environment. Okay, so this is what you do here. Third important part of the tool is the load test goals section. So basically here it's what I mentioned before. It's not just about running 3,000 users. You know, it's about knowing what you want to achieve. So here what we've done is make it super easy for the user to basically recreate different load patterns. So you can just select from the drop-down box like, oh, I want to have or recreate the load that I have at 9 o'clock in the morning when I have all my users logging in a very short period of time. Or I actually want to recreate the load that I get during the morning, which is fairly steady. Or I want to have a kind of load where I have time shifts, you know, so I have some peaks. So anyway, you can just select different things, again, very easy from the drop-down. And lastly, as I said before, we have a test selection section where we bundle different scripts, and from here you can just select the different scripts and select the amount of users that you want per script. So obviously we offer some suggestions, some recommendations based on our experience, but some customers might actually do a bit more intensive upload or a bit more intensive downloads. So from here you can tweak all those settings. So now some of you might still be thinking, well, so this is you know, this is still fairly similar to the load test wizard within Microsoft within Visual Studio, but this wizard is much more user friendly, right? So this is aimed towards users with no testing experience whatsoever. So it's very simple for them to just go and go through the wizard. We also bundle a number of test scripts, and this is great, as I said, for vanilla implementations. So you pretty much just have to take these scripts next, and you're just running the test. We also have the graphical environment editor. So this is a big enhancement because it saves you a lot of time when you're setting up the monitoring. And we also have the goal-based load pattern. So if you would do this configuration using Visual Studio, it takes quite a bit of time to just, you know, having to go through each one of the scripts and setting the correct properties. So with the goal-based load pattern, we save a lot of time. Now, you might all be thinking, okay, so how much is this going to cost? Or how much is this costing? Well, it is actually free download, free to use. You just go ahead and take it from our website. Reason being is because it's been developed internally for Testhouse employees. So this is actually an added value that we offer, and that way we are much faster at performance testing most implementations. But obviously we would like to get some revenue out of the tool, as you can imagine. So the only thing we are asking you to is that, you know, if you have any changes that you want to be made to the tool, you need some extra scripts, you need to do some changes to the scripts, just go ahead and contact us, and we'll work with you on your project or with your customer. And you know, at the end we will all save time. So you can imagine, this tool is built with quality in mind. So the tool is being built and tested using BSTS 2010. And yes, before we go into the Q&A, I would like to leave you with some resources. You can download the MSP from our website. I'm leaving you the Spanish URL. You can get it from the UK side, I believe, as well. But this is our Spanish download, just in case you go and it's only in Spanish, but just click the download button. We also have a detailed video on each one of the on the features of the MSP. So just go to our YouTube channel. It is written with a 0, so it's a long story, but basically Testhouse, not an O, but a 0. And lastly, the training offering. You can go to this website where you have all the different training agendas, and you can check out whether you like it or not. This last website is going through redesign right now, that we've changed the corporate identity. So please bear with us. You know, if you go to it right now, it's not very attractive, I have to say, but it will change over the next few weeks. So, and you can contact me or check out our website if you need any further information. So with this, I'm done with the presentation, and we can go into the Q&A. So, questions, anyone?